Hey everyone, this is Daniel from Phone Arena with the Nokia 701, which is one of the first to run Nokia's best touchscreen OS to date, Symbian Belle, and also has the brightest mobile display out there. Its rounded shape resembles a lot the Nokia C7 actually. It is pretty compact but not very thin at 11 millimeters. It has this metal battery cover on the back, which is easily removable via the latch here, and also it sports Nokia's fixed focus 8 megapixel shooter on the back with dual LED flash. There's this dedicated voice control button between the volume keys. When you long press it, it calls the voice recognition app. Message. So you can text while you're driving, for example, which comes in handy. But let's focus now on the 3.5-inch LED backlit IPS LCD with 360 by 640 pixels of resolution, which makes the pixel density a little bit above average for the category. And it's one of Nokia 701's main selling points, since it's more than 1000 nits bright, which makes it the most luminous mobile display to date. We compared it outside with the iPhone 4, which has a pretty bright display as well, peaking at about 600 nits, but the Nokia 701's 1000 really make a difference for better sunlight visibility. Being an IPS LCD, it also sports very good viewing angles, as you can see, and punchy colors without being overly saturated like on AMOLED displays. Let's examine now how the new Symbian Belle looks like on the brightest screen out there. Symbian Belle has started to look a lot like Android, with these multiple home screens with individual wallpapers you can assign, and also the notification bar here with connectivity switches, pretty smooth. And it has this navigational strip at the bottom with contextual buttons which change according to the app you're in. Very well, this could be a buttonless phone, but we guess this is saved for the Nokia N9 with the MeeGo Harmattan. And the main menu has also received a big update. Gone are now the mess of folders and subfolders. We just have big fat round icons with the applications. Also we have a search button to look for an app in case we have many of those. Like that. The portrait keyboard has stayed from Symbian Ana, which is pretty comfortable in its own turn, in landscape mode as well. We have this contextual menu button like in Android, but as we said, the strip here at the bottom and the buttons on it change depending on the app you're in. For example, in the messaging application, you want to start a new message. Now we have a handy way to access multimedia attachments right here from the bottom strip. There's a back button now. Overall, it looks like a version of Android for buttonless phones. And by the way, Symbian Belle is now pretty fast, as you can see. Its code is diminished with 75%. Of course, we have 1 GHz processor and 512 megabytes of RAM on the Nokia 701, which makes everything seem much faster. But also the Symbian Belle code is quite optimized, just where it counts. The only nuisance we found is the fact that you have to create folders here in the main menu first, like that, and then you can add them to a home screen, rather than just creating them right here. That's the way you remove them from the home screen. You can also arrange the icons in the main menu, like that, and they get reshuffled automatically. The way you rearrange things on the home screens is different. You can just drag and drop them or delete them straight here from the home screen. The native applications like the calendar have received a visual upgrade as well. As you can see, much more compact and easier to deal with view than we had before. The music player, for example, has also received a bump. This nice cover flow-like interface in portrait mode stays, but we have a fatter progress bar, which is easier to touch with your finger. And when you go into landscape mode, for example, with the music player, this beautiful cover flow-like album art still stays, and the excellent landscape mode of the interface is shown, which by the way is a signature feature of Symbian, as you can see, and it's been kept in Bell as well. Everything works wonderfully in landscape mode, all the applications and throughout the interface. The Nokia 701 sports a pretty broad video format support right out of the box with DivX, XVAD or MPEG-4 files supported in video playback up to 720p definition. As you can see here, we're running a DivX file, 720p. The default video player is pretty basic. There's no looping or showing the battery status on the screen when you touch it, but it does the job. And as we said, there's an excellent format support with hardwired DivX XVAD codecs, as you can see. This Symbian browser here on the Nokia 701 is the fastest one we've tried on a Nokia handset to date, thanks to the optimized code and the 1 GHz CPU with 512 megabytes of RAM. With that said, it's still not much compared to the best browsers on Android, for example, or iOS. It's clunky. Sometimes these checkered boxes appear more often than they should actually. And there's no desktop Adobe Flash support, for example, which with this hardware should be easily supported, but it's just a question of working with Adobe on that. One very good advantage of the browser on the Nokia 701 though is the excellent text reflow function. As you can see, it immediately reflows the article, so it's easier to read and plumps up the letters. Forget about embedded YouTube videos here. They just screwing up the page, make it hard to render, and you just can't play the embedded YouTube video, although there's a YouTube client on the Nokia 701. The interface has been rearranged a bit, making it easier to do things with the browser. But as we said, the performance is still not much compared to the best Android handsets with similar chipsets, for example. The gallery has also received an updated interface, which prettifies it. You can share the pictures easily with your favorite social networks. There are also built-in video and picture editors. For example, you can easily edit this one with a nice, clean, easy-to-use interface. You can, for example, quickly add bubble text to a picture, put some words in the mouth of this horse here, and then quickly save it. And the video editing app also works pretty easy. The bright display helps when framing a shot outside, and the updated camera interface is quite handy. Not that it has received much functional changes since Symbian Ana, but it's cleaned up and the camera options are neatly tucked in the bottom navigational strip you see here, as in all other apps of Symbian Bell. You can geotag your photos, which is turned on by default, just like the face detection function here. Shot-to-shot times are almost instant when you turn off the preview option, since the camera is fixed focus. and the 8 megapixel shooter is decent, but good shots usually come from very well lit environments. It struggles in lower lighting. Dynamic range is also not great when you have contrasting or bright objects, so halos appear sometimes when the sky meets darker object borders, for example. Photos could be sharper, and while contrast was decent, colors came out colder than they should, with the overall effect of blandness. Since we have infinite fixed focus, which starts from about 20 centimeters onwards, you can do clear macro shots with the Nokia 701. Having a more visible screen outdoors than other smartphones is a very tangible differentiating factor for the Nokia 701, but the handset has some other tricks to show. It is pretty solidly built and features the best looking Symbian to date in its Bell edition. When we add convenient features like the mass storage mode, NFC chip, dedicated voice recognition button here on the right, USB on the go, and an FM transmitter. Also, we have hardwired DivX XVAD codecs in the Nokia 701. This is starting to look like a versatile workhorse. The points, however, must be taken out for the hit or miss fixed focus shooter, which is not capable of doing macro shots, for example. And we have an average earpiece volume and a still clunky default browser, which is faster than on any other Symbian phone. But the underlying rendering technology and plugins like Adobe Flash are things that need a lot of work still. Looking around this price point, we find many handsets that deserve your attention. The Sony Ericsson Xperia Ray, for example, goes for about the same money, runs Android, and has very good pixel density on the 3.2-inch screen. Its 8 megapixel sensor is on par with the one on the Nokia 701, but it has the hundreds of thousands of apps on Android market that are a pretty strong selling point. Also, if you're looking at the Nokia 701, you're probably following the brand and not really enticed only by the brightest smartphone screen out there. And if that's the case, you can have a look at the Nokia N8, which has gone down in pricing, and nothing beats its 12 megapixel camera sensor yet. On top of that, it's going to receive the Symbian Bell update as well, so it's another alternative to consider. This was a video review of the Nokia 701 from Phone Arena. For more information about this and other handsets, you can visit us at phonearena.com. Thanks for watching.